Hey guys, Crowbar Zero, and today we're going over Tecknique's Tower. Looks like we've got a early-ish game tower. Pretty good luck on all the ultimate weapons so far. Like pretty much anything that's gonna crank up your econ. I'm thinking that your next ultimate weapon should probably be smart missiles, but I'm thinking we've got some work to do before we jump into that. You did show me that you took a peek at your ultimate weapons, so I know that that is an option. So you could get it now if you want to, just so that you have it. But I think we really need to work on some of these first before we jump into that. And so first, why I say that is because once you get smart missiles, the cooldown on that automatically starts at 3 minutes. So we need to get cooldowns for Golden Tower, Black Hole, and Death Wave down to 3 minutes. Really nice thing is once you get these down, like this is going to give you a nice boost, as well as everything else here. Let's see, like this. So durations match up actually if you get the perk. So it's 29 seconds for both. That's actually pretty cool. And then you might want to get up to quantity 3, which is a little bit on the expensive side. Actually, it's really expensive. So it'll be like 375 to get quantity 2, and then I think it's like 800 something to get quantity 3. Really expensive. It's going to give you a lot more coverage, and I think that will be kind of your prelude to getting smart missiles. But I think before you do that, these 3 cooldowns need to hit the 3 minute mark first. So this is where I would focus my effort, especially the Death Wave. I don't know what modules you use. Let me see what we've got here. Okay, so we don't have Multiverse Nexus, which is fine. Not a lot of modules currently. But you do have G-comps, so that's really nice. That'll make things a lot more convenient. Yeah. And you're just showing Black Hole Digester, but you're not showing what you've got on multi or G-comp. That's fine. I can take my guesses on that. Should probably just look at these just in case. Let's see, absolute defense, thorns damage. Yeah, that's probably fine. Defense percent. Yeah, it's pretty solid. Poison Swamp chance. Yeah, you're gonna want to roll that off for something else. Golden Tower bonus. That's solid. Black hole size. That's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, probably just roll off Poison Swamp chance for something else. Hopefully, it'll give you something a little bit more value. Just trying to think here for a moment. Let's see. So Own Chip might be a good one also, but for where you're at, you might want to use Own Chip. Yeah, I would continue using this as your econ for now. And then if you do get Own Chip, I would probably use that for tournaments. And that'll help significantly as far as taking out bosses. You could use Own Chip eventually for farming, because that means that bosses have a high coin value. So if they die in Spotlight, then you're getting pretty good coin value for that. But I think Harmony Conductor is probably a good one that you can just leave as your econ module. Let's see. And yeah, since you've got G-Comp, it's no contest. It's going to be really, really good. Let's see here. We've got... So yeah, that's what I would... 3 minutes for these. And then up that quantity. Well, hopefully in the meantime you can get the labs for some of these done. And then once you get smart missiles, then you're really going to hit the labs for smart missiles up ASAP. And it'll take a little bit to get through all the labs. But yeah, I think that'll be a good plan of attack. And if I remember correctly, you do have some like some milestone stuff, like your no ads packs, like the basic 3 kind of packs. And you are getting event packs. And event packs are pretty good, like bang for your buck, to get medals, which is one of the most limited currencies in the game. Let's see if we have bots. Okay. So right now it's not much. You're probably playing some catch-up with when events come up with relics, like past relics to buy. So those are always good to pick up. And then any extra, I would just sink into Golden Bot. Probably with a little bit more preference towards range. And then you do a little bit into bonus. But was it cooldown? I think gives you like 3 seconds of cooldown versus like duration. You only get, was it half a second? Somewhere along those lines. But yeah, range will be good, so you can capture as many enemies as possible. So hopefully every time that it goes off, hopefully you get some value out of that. Oops. So it's an hour. 10 hours. 50 million coins. Okay. That's actually kind of useful to find out what how much you're making. So I can actually, when I'm looking at labs, I can go, oh, how long is this going to take this person to possibly tackle this lab? So like, let's see. Actually, yeah, this would be a good example. So this would take you almost like a week to start. That's kind of painful. Let's see, where do we have the cards right now? Cards aren't too bad, but you are capped on modules right now. So you might want to roll for more modules. Hopefully you can get these up so you're uncapped and you can keep on progressing those. I think that's where I would go with your gems currently. And then once your levels, like you've got room to grow into the levels, the new levels that you have, I think that's a good point to switch back to cards and really put a priority on cards after you can uncap these levels. Let's see, for slots, you've got 14 slots. That's probably a pretty good spot for where you're at. Oops. I forgot to resume my game. Let's take a look at the labs. Lab speed, that's solid. That should definitely stay there. Orbital working on orb speed, that's pretty cool. Standard perk bonus, solid there. Trade-off, good there. Black hole coin bonus, ooh, good money right there. Very good money right there. So yeah, I would absolutely keep this one going no matter what. These other ones are pretty good for where they're at. You're probably using, blending a lot of your enemies. So this is good. Probably the one thing that is holding you back in that strategy is the extra orb speed from this, or actually the penalty, I believe. So yeah, you definitely want that orb speed up, but it's not too bad. Let's see what the rest of your labs look like. So these are some of your favorited labs. Okay. I like what I see here so far. It's kind of funny, my voice cracked just now. It's kind of funny, like the older I get, all of a sudden my voice is cracking. Whereas it didn't do that as much when I was younger. And not now, but yeah. Spotlight missiles would be good. Range, you can take that off your favorite list. I wouldn't really push that anymore. Waves required. I probably wouldn't push this one too much more. Perk option quantity, that's solid. Mission shards, reroll shards, that's good. Depending on how active you are, if you're like 24/7 farming, maybe get daily mission shards eventually up to like level 10 or so before touching common drop chance. Spotlight coin bonus. You're not going to get a huge chunk of this for now. Once you start increasing, you have more quantity, like quantity 3, and higher than that's where you're probably going to see some nice little bonuses from Spotlight Coin bonus, or if you're using Own Chip as like a farming module, just so every now and then you can capture a boss in Spotlight. You get a little bit more benefit out of that, but for now, I would say this is probably on your lower priorities side. Deathwave Corn bonus, that'll be up there because you're going to try to aim to synchronize this bonus with the rest of your econ. And also right now, I think you've got like 5-minute cooldown on Deathwave. Being able to ramp up your hit points faster with less cooldown would be really, really convenient. I don't see Deathwave. Oh, Deathwave health is here. So yeah, you've got a decent chunk right now. If you want to, I would say you could probably hold off on just normal health, and instead of using that, maybe go for Deathwave health instead, and focus on using this for your health instead. Probably take off damage. Damage per meter off of your favorites as well. I mean, it doesn't cost that much. Yeah, I'm kind of torn. I'm kind of torn because eventually this is going to how should I say it? So eventually you're not going to be using this really too much for your damage. You're going to be relying on other ultimate weapons. So, but for now, I guess it's fine. Yeah, I guess for now, just leave it on. Once you start getting smart missiles, and then hopefully after that, like chrono field and or chain lightning, um, especially once you get chain lightning, this is going to be you're not going to see a lot of use. Until like much later when you get Spotlight Plus. That's much farther down the road. That's like, let's add in like 2 years to your game before you grab that, or more, because you're not buying any of those stone packs anymore. Target priority 2, that'll be good to get eventually. So I'd probably add that to your favorites. Yeah. And why I say take range off your favorites is because you have Black Hole. You're going to want to keep that as close to your tower as possible so that it's encompassing as much of your tower range. Workshop Enhancements is really nice. It seems like that's within your affordable range to get. As my voice just cracked again. Whew. Yeah, I'll definitely pick that up and then, trickle a little bit of your extra coin into that. You can get extra, I think, like on the utility side, it goes cash, coin, and then cells. So you can actually start like buying your way into getting more coin and getting more cells. So I wouldn't neglect this. It's fine. You could probably get like a level on each of these. These are fine. Or boss hit will be valuable. If you're blending enemies with your orbs. Okay, just going through your stuff here. Nice. And you got the extra black hole. That's really good. Eventually, like much farther down the road, since you already have Deathwave, you just can't afford it right now. This does become useful, but this is going to be a while before you gain that use or usefulness out of it. So yeah, just keep that in mind down the road. Once you get like all your cooldowns really low, being able to amp on enemies with your effect waves would become a very valuable tool, but that's far off on the future. As far as smart missiles, one of the reasons why it's really good, and why it ends up hitting like a truck is because the missile amplifier lab. So each subsequent missile that hits is taking that next set of damage. So it starts at 1, so it doesn't amp at all. Once you get that first level done, then each subsequent missile is going to do like an extra like 2.5, then it would go to 5 times, then it would go to 7.5 times damage. So each subsequent missile becomes more and more valuable. And it's a extremely powerful mechanic. Even if like the raw damage between like chain lightning and smart missiles is like skewed towards chain lightning, and you're like, oh, you get it more frequently. It's because this amp ability that makes it hit so powerful later on. So if you're able to develop this fairly on in the game's lifespan, um, that's just going to push you farther ahead um, and put you in a better spot, I think. As well as that, you also have with your spotlight, you have spotlight missiles. So that benefits from these labs as well. So if you're pushing tournament progression and you have spotlight missiles just boom, 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 going out all the time, one every 2 seconds, uh, it's it's stupidly powerful. Like I can't emphasize it enough. It's extremely powerful. Um, but you really need this lab and the explosion radius for smart missiles to really benefit from those. Just looking through, that's fine. Getting another band would be nice. A little bit expensive time-wise for you, and it looks like it would cost you about 3 hours worth of farming, but I would probably have this on my higher priority list of things to pick up. Golden bot, the cooldown. Uh, Maybe once you get a little bit more developed, maybe when you get like some free time here and there, sink a little bit of cooldown into this. That could be really nice. But I think right now it's your golden bot's not quite developed to that point yet. But you'll get there pretty fast. As far as what we've got here, man, honestly, all of these are great labs, especially this one. Um, I don't know what I would do differently. Yeah, I really don't know what I would do differently, if anything. Oh, and also the whole synchronized thing with black hole, and that's specifically so when you're hoarding enemies next to your tower, when black hole goes off, and all the rest of your econ, immediately right then when everything's captured, uh, you're basically ideally completely wiping out all of those enemies instantaneously. So that's, and you don't have to worry about protectors clogging up your black hole. That's a huge problem because I know every time it goes off and you're just sitting there and you're like, oh hey, there's a protector in my black hole. Great, this is fantastic. There's half of the potential coin that I could be getting now is just flushed down the hole. So yeah. And then as far as that goes, you might actually want target priority in here. So where would I slot that in? That's a that is the top question that I have on my mind. Where would I slot that in? Mm, and I don't know. because they're all fantastic labs. Maybe improve trade-off. Maybe I'd put target priority 2 in here. Get that done and then return to improve trade-off. I don't think it's going to take you too terribly long to actually get this lab done. So... Yeah, let's go with target priority 2 for this. And then when you get your new target priority set up, I'm thinking let's go, because you only have one spotlight right now. So I'm not gonna... Eventually you're gonna have in spotlight. So I'd say let's go protectors, basics, and then maybe you could do in spotlight after that. That might be a plan of attack. But yeah, you're definitely going to want to target priority on protectors just to kill them with your bullets, because your orbs aren't going to do it for those guys. Now, as far as your workshop, we've got some work here to do. So you're definitely absolutely going to devo your range. You're going to respec. You're going to take your range down to minimal. Absolutely 100%. Also, absolutely 100% with multi-shot chance, bounce shot chance. I think you have... Let me just double check. Let's see, main research, attack, research versus ultimate weapons. And I know what's in here, so I'm not going to comment on modules right now, but later on, once things become more affordable and you're knocking out some of the other module labs, those will be good. But right now, you're also capped because of your modules. So... extra black hole. Okay, so you do have black hole damage. That's pretty solid. So when your black hole goes off, assuming you have the perk, that is 29 seconds. So 29 times 2, that's what is that? 58% damage over the entire course of the black hole to enemies that are in there, roughly. So your bullets will need to compensate for the rest of that damage. But yeah, 50 is not too bad. If you've got thorns, like a little bit of thorns, not a lot, which you already have on your module, definitely gonna recommend devoing that down. But yeah, we're just gonna keep the attacks per second low. Critical chance, you might want to start off with that low. Maybe not. As I said, attack range, multi-shot chance, rapid fire, bounce shot chance. The rest of them, you can keep those cranked up, that's fine. And you want that low attack per second so you can hoard enemies. All the enemies that you've hoarded get sucked into black hole. You've got that 29 seconds to kill whatever you got sucked into your black hole. So there's going to be some damage from thorns. That's going to help you out. and you're gonna use your bullets to kind of mop up that extra. Was it 42% remaining damage, assuming that they weren't hit by thorns? Yeah. Now, unfortunately, that's not going to. The black hole is not going to affect elites, except for, I believe, for the coin drops. So that'll be a different story. So you probably want like maybe target priority props, basics, and then elites. On the defense side of things, you're going to devo down thorns. Absolute defense is going to be very valuable for you because that's going to keep you alive. Knockback chance, you're not going to want to knock back enemies into your not workshop orbs, but your extra orbs. Your extra orbs, you're going to run right through the area where your black hole goes off. So when it does go off, enemies get sucked back. Ideally, your extra orbs will slice and dice them up. But yeah, orb speed, you can leave that, but you're going to devo orbs out because you want enemies to slip past your orbs so you can hoard them on your tower, and then all your econ goes off, and then that's at the point where you're going to be doing the killing. Landmine chance, you're going to take that out. And down below, it looks like you have wall unlocked. I would say let's remove that for now, because you need quite a bit of investment into wall to make it worthwhile. Otherwise, when enemies hit the wall, they're going to start heating up their damage. So it's like, I think it's 4% extra damage for every hit that they do. So if they hit, you want to be able to control the damage output onto them. So like 1 or 2% thorns damage is probably good. So you've got a good chunk of time where, as they're ramping up their damage, your thorns is slowly ticking away at them, but not at such a fast rate that you're not hoarding enough enemies on, just waiting on your tower to for all your econ to go off. You're going to take out your free ups. And specifically why you want to do that is there's a lot of these stats that you're trying to keep on the lower end so you can control how you kill enemies. So you're hoarding these enemies and you want to be very calculated on like when everything goes off, okay, this is the time that I can get in and start killing enemies. So you want to be careful and not use these during farming, but you can use them during tournaments. So usually during tournaments, like the first thing I dump into is like utility upgrades. You could do like a big dump in here and then a little bit into attack and defense, and then continue pumping this up until you just can't anymore. Yeah, finish these off and then dump into the attack and health level skips. Since you are very heavily focused on getting hit a lot, you're going to get a lot more value out of enemy attack level skips, which you already have, so that's good. Yeah. It looks like you've actually done, maybe completed the lab for this? I'm not sure. I'd have to double check that. Not too worried about the themes and relics. Like, it is what it is. That's not going to change how you do things. So, I'm not going to look at that per se. What was I looking for? It's getting late. That's probably why I'm kind of feeling potato in the head. Oh, you haven't done these. So these are actually really powerful. Doesn't take too long to do. It's well within your purchasable range. And yeah, I would definitely put these up there. Once you can afford it, package chance will be really convenient to use for, and you already have package after boss. That's fantastic. Yeah, there's that missile explosion that I was telling you about earlier, and that unlocks the radius for the explosion as the like follow-up lab. You know, this will be good to do. There's a lot. Yeah. I think I just about covered everything here. Yeah. Anyway, I hope I gave you some good ideas. And just saying, you're also going to keep these devoed when you get smart missiles. Because at that point, the smart missiles are just going to be doing all the killing during your farming runs. And you're just going to sit back, hoard a bunch of enemies, and between smart missiles, and then kind of mop up the remaining with orbs. As enemies kind of fall into your black hole during that zoom back up here during the duration of time that you have. Yeah, good stuff there. Anyway, I think that just about covers everything. I hope that helps you out. And I think the other thing that I want to mention, just a closing comment. You were excited about getting chain lightning, and the reason that I would rather aim you towards smart missiles is one, it'll turn your farming into a very controlled setup. Everything's timed, calculated, like it's just boom, all the enemies are gone that you've hoarded. You get like a big boost of, coin at that point, and then versus like chain lightning, most of your farming runs, you're going to have to turn that off because you're not going to be able to control it. Or as far as like what enemies and where you're killing, it'll be great for tournaments. But if you have smart missiles, you can turn your spotlight missiles as part of your spotlight into something that's extremely dangerous with that quantity 3. So I would rather you start investing in smart missiles so you're hitting like a truck, like a semi, versus a sedan like you would with chain lightning. And there's a lot of things that I love about chain lightning. Like, I love the aesthetics of it. I love that it gives a bunch of buffs all over the place. And Smart Missile or Chain Lightning Plus is really good for like your basic level enemies, but sitting back and just calculating everything and be like, what would be the best bang for my buck to just make somebody's tower soar as quickly as possible to the best possible spot? I have to recommend smart missiles. But yeah, it's a great lineup that you have for your next choice. Both of these, like after smart missiles, both of these are very, very strong contenders for your next ultimate weapon. So I would definitely choose one of these as your next one. As far as which one I would choose, part of me is leaning towards Chronofield. And that would be so you could start the labs for this. Because the Chronofield Duration Lab takes a really, really long time. But if you do that lab, it saves you a lot of stones in the long run, and it makes it easier to manage enemies. And then maybe chain lightning at that point. Yeah. But if you get chain lightning and you don't get this, then just grab chain lightning at that point. Anyway, I think I covered everything. Yeah, I will catch you later.